In case you missed it this morning, before we go any further, the text to win keyword for Night at the Tower is celebration. The keyword is celebration to 913-408-7957. If you want your chance to be at Night at the Tower, National World War I Museum and Memorial, coming up next Saturday. Text the keyword celebration to 913-408-7957. Here in studio, my good friend John Holt, Fox 4. What's going on, my man?
I'm all about celebrating.
I know.
How about we celebrate a win Sunday night, huh?
Boy, wouldn't that be nice, huh?
Oh, man. How about this? Sunday Night Football. You're NBC. You're looking at the biggest market in the country, number one, New York. You don't know how the Giants are going to do, but did you expect the Chiefs and Giants to be 0-2?
I know.
Right?
I know. It's crazy.
I
mean, they thought this was going to be Chiefs maybe 2-0,
right.
rolling, Travis Taylor, the whole thing.
Right.
And now it's like, can the Chiefs, if they lose this game, they can't, I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs if they go 0-3. I don't think there's any way.
The percentages drop based, I think, into the 20s, mid-20s.
They're at 12% right now. 12% chance to make the playoffs.
Now, see, that's interesting because there are different ways of measuring it. And the last one I saw was they dropped to like 43%. It's the Chiefs, for crying out loud. It's Andy Reid. It's Patrick Mahomes. They're going to get their weapons back eventually, barring any other injuries. Once they get past the Ravens, I mean, that's the thing. They need to win Sunday night because then you got the Ravens.
I know.
After that, there's who else? Well, obviously the Bills are on the schedule. But then it gets a little easier, although the AFC West ain't what it used to be.
No, that's what I mean, man.
Ain't what it used to be.
It's the best division in football by a mile.
Easily. Great coaches now across the board. Good quarterbacks for all of these teams now. And the Chiefs are obviously we don't think they're what they used to be. We hope they get back to that. But, man. Yeah,
this schedule, Giants, then Ravens, Jaguars, Lions, Raiders, Commanders. I mean,
Lions was the one I was forgetting. We've got them.
Lions are good.
They're very good.
And the Commanders are good.
The Commanders are better, yes,
so,
for sure.
Outside of the Jaguars and Raiders, and even the Raiders continue to improve, so you don't really know how well this is going to go.
I was talking to our sports guys. If you had just showed me the stats from last week's game, right?
Yeah.
Total yardage for Philadelphia, 223. And you held Jalen Hurts to 101 yards passing. We win.
Yeah.
I don't even need to see the scoreboard. Well, that was not the case. It was not to be, right?
When someone drops a touchdown in the end zone, it's kind of tough.
Well, especially when it jumps into somebody else's hands and they run the other way, and your left tackle runs them down, right? That was classic.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I am so bothered by Kelsey not talking to the media on Sunday and then on Monday, and then making his statements on the games on his own little podcast where his brother's asking him softball questions. I think that is so weak. That shows zero leadership from a veteran. What do you think?
I agree. I think he should have stepped up and admitted, and I think he has embraced that, hey, I should have caught the pass. Patrick Mahomes said, that was a bad throw. I shouldn't have.
And it's like, come on, Patrick's got to stand there after the game at the podium and say, I should have thrown the ball better. Right. We all know Travis should have caught it. And Travis is hiding, waiting to save his comments for his own little podcast, where his brother is going to ask him the question. That's a joke.
Do you think that was knowing that he would be on the podcast, hoping they would boost the numbers? I don't think they need any help boosting numbers.
No, I think it's a safe space for him, though.
Could be, yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
He doesn't want your guys at Fox 4 or anybody else asking him a tough follow-up question to that.
Right.
He gets to say what he says under his own little platform, and that's it.
And that's why I always say when I talk to anybody about a story we're working on, this is totally different from sports. If you say no comment or hide, it looks bad.
Yeah.
If you come right out and embrace something and say, yeah, you know what, we messed up, or hey, that was my fault, or no, here's my view of it. Okay.
Yeah.
You say your piece and move on. Mm-hmm. And I think fans will embrace that there's a lot of love for Travis Kelce.
Well, that's what I mean. I just as a man, I respect that, right?
Yes.
You get up there and you say, "Hey, that's on me. I'm a veteran. You don't say this, but he's a future Hall of Famer. Catch the ball. You can catch that ball." Instead, he's got Patrick up there taking the blame for the pass, and he's literally hiding, which just makes it that much worse.
Well, I agree. And this is don't hide. Don't say no comment. It looks worse. It looks bad.
I agree.
Period.
John Holt, it's great to have him here. So you guys got your KC End Zone show coming up on Sunday?
Sunday morning, 8:30. And it's a blast for me. I somehow got slotted on this show, figured it'd be for a year, right? And here we are 5 years later, and I love working with Rob and Harold. We have a great time. We usually bring in a guest when we can to help us somebody who really knows football, the X's and O's. I'm sort of there as the fan and the ringmaster. I like to tell people I just kind of keep things moving. I'll weigh in with my opinions, but my role is just fan and kind of speak to the common fan, like most of us are. And I'll let the sports guys who spend time out at the practice facility, who've been at camp, who sometimes travel, go to these games and cover them on the road. I'll let them be the real experts. But it's a blast, man. I love doing the show, and it's on here. It's on in St. Louis. It's on in Springfield, Topeka, Wichita, all the Next Star stations in the kingdom.
That's great.
So, yeah.
I love it. Well, you guys do a great job with
Thank
that
you.
show. John Holt is here on KCMO. And the main reason I had to get you here is because I was with your old teammate, Harris Faulkner, a couple of weeks ago, and I said, well, I need to get the big star of that duo, John Holt, back into this studio on KCMO. So that's the main reason I got you here. I had Harris here, and now you're here.
Well, I'd put her way above me in terms of reach, but, we were talking before we went on here. I remember fondly when I first got here, Phil Witt was the main anchor, and Harris. He and Harris were I want to say 6 and 10 for sure. I don't think they did the 5, 6 and 10. And whenever Phil was gone, they would plug me in, so I got to sit there next to Harris Faulkner, having no idea that one day she'd be. Back then, there was no Fox News, or it was in its infancy.
Yeah.
And here she is, coast to coast, with her own morning show and doing great. And we touch base every once in a while, but I know you're in contact with her. And you did a great job on the show, by the way.
Thank you.
I didn't see it as it aired, but I was able to catch it on social media. That's where we see so much of what we hear about now. And I thought it was fun to see you there, and you did a great job.
Well, thank you. I did want your unfiltered feedback because that mattered to me. I sent it to a couple of people just saying, hey, critique this for me.
Yeah.
And people had different commentary and different things. It was overall positive, but
here's the deal. How did you look?
Yeah.
See?
Well,
was the lighting good? Was the makeup good?
It's funny. I don't think about that, but some people said, the look was pretty good, and someone said, well, you could have had a different suit on. I'm like, boy, I'm a radio guy. This is way above my pay grade, okay? I just come in with a couple opinions, try to make it short, pithy, and sweet, and move on with my day.
Yeah. By the way, do you do makeup when you're at a network like that?
It's funny. I had no makeup on.
Okay.
But as Harris and I were talking during the commercial break, the makeup gal comes up to Harris and kind of, tunes her up a little bit. And she goes, whoa, you got makeup on? I was like, no. She's like, okay, you look good.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, well, I still got my little summer tan going, I guess. I don't know what it was. I still had just a little bit of, what it is? Coaching Pee Wee soccer. I'm out in the sun a little bit, so I looked okay.
There you go.
That's what made it work. But I did do something before I went into the studio with Harris, stepped in the bathroom and just kind of wiped the side of my temples. I didn't want to have that shiny look on TV,
Sometimes they'll come in and they'll do that to the guest as well. I know. It just get rid of the shine. People ask me to this day, who does your makeup? I say, you're looking at him. I mean, we literally, the days of having in local television,
you don't have
except
it
for maybe L.A., New York. Oh, no, we don't. The only time we would have makeup artists, and we don't even do this anymore, is if we would rent a high-def camera or a 4K camera for a promo. Then we would have a makeup artist because obviously that's a different, back in its infancy, that was a different look and the lighting and all. But yeah, we just.
So you do your own makeup?
Oh, yeah.
When did you learn to do your own makeup?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I got to be careful how I answer this, don't I? It's career driven. It's, it has nothing to do with, probably when I started television, more so in Wichita than Topeka. I don't remember much. Maybe a compact just to get rid of the shine. Mm-hmm. But in Wichita, we were putting on regular makeup.
But were you doing it for yourself then? Okay.
Yes. We had tutorials. They'd bring in a makeup artist to show us how to do it.
What do you put on?
Like, I just do a little eye concealer. And how did we get to this point?
You brought it up.
Yeah, I did, yes. Eye concealer and just some to get rid of the shine.
That's it.
Believe me, we walk into our little makeup room.
Yeah.
And there will be like the boxes you go fishing with, tackle boxes, women will use those for all their makeup supplies. I grab my little baggie, and I've got a couple things in there, and I'm out. Takes me about 30 seconds. There's not much more you can do with this.
Well,
but they've got, it's spread out all over the place, and I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm a guy.
I'm glad I'm as good looking as John Holt.
I don't know about that.
Talk about yourself in the third person too while you do it.
Good lighting. That's the key.
All right, it's 9:15. John Holt, Fox 4 is here on KCMO. We'll take a quick break with him. I want to get to just some of the speech issues that have been happening around the country, and obviously he's a Next Star station, as he referred to right there. So a lot going on in this space we'll dive into next on KCMO. John Holt is here, Fox 4. Of course, you see him every night, joining us on KCMO Talk Radio. So let's just touch on the elephant in the room, so to speak. Your station, Fox 4, is owned by Nexstar.
Correct.
Nexstar is one of the companies that has expressed disappointment in Jimmy Kimmel and ABC, and they pushed back on what Kimmel said earlier this week. Now, Nexstar, once again, owning Fox 4 in Kansas City, has nothing to do with ABC, but they own other ABC affiliates around the country.
Largest owner of TV stations. I think it's around 200, and they have affiliations with all of the networks. I believe Fox affiliations top the list for them.
Gotcha.
Right?
So they own the most Fox affiliates of all their arsenal of stations, and then ABC, they have a few dozen of those too. So this has nothing to do with what's going on here in Kansas City, obviously.
No.
But, as a Nexstar guy, what do you make of just the conversation that's been going on free speech and just the country at large over the last couple of days in the wake of Jimmy Kimmel?
It's a little worrisome, isn't it? I mean, I'm a big free speech guy. I mean, that's what we do. We support the First Amendment. The courts, thankfully, have said, there really is no legal definition of hate speech, by the way. Mm-hmm. It's there, with rare exceptions, can you target hate speech, if that's what you want to call it. Now, as an employer, if you don't like what an employee is doing, you probably do have the right to remove them or suspend them or whatever. But in terms of Nexstar, those decisions obviously are made at the corporate level.
Yeah.
And they were followed very quickly by Sinclair, almost in tandem. And it wasn't long after that Disney said, this is getting out of control. We're getting a lot of complaints. And security, I understand, was an issue, that the show was getting threats. And so they decided to suspend. And the interesting thing, the Wall Street Journal reporting that Kimmel was going to double down the next night instead of, hey, okay, you misunderstood me. Or this is what I was trying to say. And so, it's sort of snowballed. And now they're in a situation where he needs to come back on the air at some point, but when? And how do you decide? And what will he say when he comes back?
Does he need to come back? How many people just never come back?
Sometimes they don't, but the Wall Street Journal or somebody's reporting again this morning that they were looking to try to bring him back Monday. And the 22nd, I think it is. Or anyway, they were hoping to get him back on. But again, he can't, if he comes back on and just fans the flames.
Oh, yeah. They can't put him back on.
Then you're right back where you started.
Yeah, you're even a worse place than where you started.
Yeah.
Because then you've got everyone mad at you. If you put him back on and he doubles down,
right.
I mean, you're still going to have those that agree with him upset because you suspended him.
Right.
And now the other side's going to be like, why'd you put him back on?
Well, here's the thing. Let's take the security issues out of it, the doxing and the threats. I think you enforce or uphold the First Amendment and let viewers use their remotes to decide.
Well, but hold on. Haven't advertisers done that?
Advertisers too,
and if
because
you're
that's
start
the
losing
bottom
money,
line.
Well, that's
right?
what I mean. If ultimately this is a bottom line game and Nexstar says we're mad and Sinclair says we're mad and advertisers say we don't like this, then the business decision has been made.
That's a big factor there, and good point. And my understanding is they were getting some heat on that front, and that's when you also have to look at the bottom, because Disney's a publicly traded company, right?
Yeah.
Shareholders will start to weigh in, institutional shareholders. So there's a lot in play here, but I still think, and if you look, my understanding is Kimmel's show is losing money, as was
Colbert's losing $40 million a year.
Time.
I mean, my goodness, that late night TV is not what it used to be.
No, not at all. They have a unique niche. They have loyal viewers, so you keep them on as long as you can. But at some point, you say, hey, this isn't working, and so we'll see how that plays out.
I was, and we were talking about this during the break. I watched clips of Johnny Carson with Mike Wallace on 60 Minutes in 1980. Right. And Wallace is trying to bait him into, why don't you get into politics? And he goes, people aren't here for that. And I think now that's more true than ever. You could have a successful broadcast late night show that was just funny, but they got out of the business of just being funny to everybody.
Yeah. Carson also said in that clip, which I've seen as well, pretty soon you start to think what you say is important and that you're important.
Yes.
And yes, I could use this as a forum, but that's not why people tune in. And that's why Carson lasted so long and was so successful. And to a certain extent, Leno after him. They were funny, but they were non-political.
Yes.
Or if they used political. It was satire, and they were evenly distributing
exactly
how but mostly it was Karnak, and it was skits, and it was Doc Severinsen, and I mean, I'm giving away my age here, aren't I? But here's the other thing we're dealing with at night, and we deal with this as evening newscasters. People are now streaming.
Yeah.
They've got Netflix, they've got Hulu, they've got all these other opportunities. We're not fighting as much our competitors here in Kansas City. We're dealing with people who just don't want to watch any news.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
They're moving on to they're streaming. We can see it. They can do the analytics and see where people are going.
This conversation's flying by. We've got a little over a minute left with John Holt. Can you believe it? I mean, we're 6 minutes into this conversation on the back end. It's unbelievable.
Can we call a timeout? I guess not, right?
Mark wouldn't like that too much.
Yeah, right.
So you got For the People, your show covering local politics Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock.
Now we're on at 5 a.m. because of NFL.
Oh,
Fox
that's right.
took over. But we stream. We're on our streaming channel, WDAF Plus, or on our website. So
great. Yeah. You've got Frank White coming up this weekend?
Yes, he's
making the rounds?
He's making the rounds. He's making himself. He's spoken to a number of outlets here in town, and including us. I've already had the interview with him. And you know, he's. I think he knows he's in trouble. The voting's begun, advanced voting in Missouri. So we'll see how it plays out. He thinks he's going to hold his own, and he says he trusts the voters of Jackson County, and we'll see where it goes. But it was Frank White's a very nice man. I've known him for years. I've enjoyed my visits with him. This is the first time I've had a chance to sit down and do a one-on-one with him, and I hated that it was under these circumstances, but I thought it was important that we do it, and I appreciated him coming in.
Well, I'll text him. I'm not sure he's going to get back to me.
He might. He might.
Really? You think he might?
Yeah. I would think you have a significant Jackson County audience.
Oh, yeah. Should I say that my good friend or your good friend John Holt told me to reach out?
I may not be his good friend after our interview. But no.
Oh, man. All right. So 5 a.m. Sunday.
Set your DVR, or literally you can watch it on demand.
I'm a big DVR guy, so that'll be my route.
All right.
Good stuff. John Holt, hey, it's great to have you in studio, my man. Thank you for
Good
coming in.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
John Holt, Fox 4, every night here on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM, always streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app.